To the manager, he was just another black customer, someone to be ignored. But what he didn't know was that this customer owned the entire chain. What happened next would shock even the most experienced. But let's start from the very beginning. The massive glass doors of Crestwood Electronics slid open, allowing a tall black man in a dark sweater, jeans, and sneakers to step into the brightly lit showroom. Michael Watson, 52, walked past rows of premium electronics, studying the latest laptops and smartphones. He was the founder of this company, the CEO of the entire chain. But today, no one on the staff knew who he was. At the consultation desk, Andrew Larson, a 30-year-old white man, was enthusiastically speaking with a young white couple. "This model is the best on the market. Amazing camera, incredible performance," he praised, handing a smartphone to the woman. Michael stopped by a glass display case. He waited. Andrew glanced at him briefly, then turned back to the couple as if Michael was invisible. A minute passed, then another. The manager completely ignored him. "Excuse me, sir, can I help you?" A timid voice spoke nearby. Michael turned. Standing before him was Sarah, a black trainee, nervously fidgeting with her name badge. "Thank you, yes. I'd like to take a look at this laptop," Michael said, pointing at one of the models. Sarah nodded but hesitated, glancing toward the manager. "Andrew, maybe you can assist?" The manager spun around sharply, looking Michael up and down. "Are you sure this product is within your budget?" he asked with a smirk. Michael exhaled slowly. "I just need some information. Is that a problem?" "The problem is, we don't do product demonstrations for curiosity seekers," Andrew replied dryly, crossing his arms. At that moment, a white man in an expensive suit entered the store. Andrew instantly transformed. "Good afternoon, sir. How can I assist you today?" He practically rushed toward the new customer, completely forgetting about Michael. Sarah stood frozen in shock. Michael silently pulled out his phone and typed a message. A second later, it was sent to the company's top executives. "I just experienced racism in my own store. Time to take action." He turned and walked out. The morning at Crestwood Electronics headquarters started in full-blown panic. A security camera recording, showing a store manager ignoring a black customer only to enthusiastically assist a white man moments later, had already been sent to all top executives. Michael's message was brief but firm. "Emergency meeting at 10 o'clock a.m. Attendance is mandatory." Tension hung thick in the conference room, like the air before a storm. Seated around the long table were senior executives, the HR director, the regional manager, and Andrew Larson, who had been summoned without explanation. He sat relaxed, oblivious to what was about to unfold. The door opened. Michael entered. Silence. The manager he had ignored yesterday was the owner of the company. "Ladies and gentlemen," Michael began, his voice cold, "let's take a look at how our employees behave in real-life situations." The screen lit up with the footage. The silence in the room became almost physical. Andrew turned pale. Is that you?" he stammered. "Yes," Michael replied evenly. "I walked into my own store as a regular customer and experienced firsthand how my manager didn't even think I was worth speaking to." Andrew's face flushed red. "But I didn't think that—" "You didn't think a black man could afford a $3,000 laptop?" Michael locked eyes with him. Andrew swallowed hard. "I just wanted to make sure the customers were serious. So, if I'm black, I'm automatically not a serious customer." Andrew said nothing. Michael turned to the rest of the room. "How many other customers experience this every day? How many sales do we lose? And how many employees like Andrew are working in our stores?" No one dared to argue. Michael placed a contract in front of the HR director. "Andrew Larson, you're fired." Gasps rippled through the room. You can't, Andrew blurted out. You have no right to fire me just because of racial discrimination? Michael cut him off. Oh, trust me, I have every right. A security officer stepped forward. Pack your things, the HR director added. You're done here. Andrew opened his mouth to protest but saw the looks on everyone's faces. It was over. As he was escorted out of the room, Michael turned back to the table. Starting today, the rules in this company are changing. And he would make sure this was just the beginning. The next day, the internet exploded. The surveillance footage from the store, showing Andrew Larson ignoring a black customer only to eagerly assist a white shopper, had leaked onto social media. The video came with a striking headline. The CEO walked into his own store disguised as a regular customer and was completely ignored. The comment section was furious. This is exactly why we stop shopping at places like this. Good on the CEO for taking action. But how many Larsons are working across the entire company? Enough is enough. This is how racism in business should be dealt with. The hashtag #CrestwoodScandal started trending. Michael knew silence wasn't an option. He recorded a public statement. I am the founder of this company. Yesterday, I walked into my own store as a regular customer. I was ignored. I was refused assistance. Why? Because I am black. There is no place for discrimination at Crestwood Electronics. We didn't just fire one person. We are overhauling the system. Every store will undergo evaluation. We are implementing new training, increasing oversight, and enforcing a zero-tolerance policy against racism. This story isn't about a single incident. It's about a systemic problem that needs to be addressed. The video gained millions of views. The next day, media headlines read, CEO faces discrimination in his own store and turns the tables. Crestwood Electronics implements strict anti-racism policies. This is how you fight bias in business. Meanwhile, Andrew Larson gave an interview. I'm a victim of cancel culture. This is unfair. They destroyed my career over one misunderstanding. But the public wasn't buying it. Misunderstanding? You treated black customers like garbage. Now you know how it feels to be dismissed and disrespected. Stop whining. Learn from it. Meanwhile, company-wide audits began. Sarah, the trainee who had tried to help Michael, was promoted. She was now responsible for customer service across the entire region. The company rolled out new training programs to enforce higher standards. But most importantly, people saw that change was possible. And Michael knew. This was just the beginning. A week had passed. Crestwood Electronics was no longer the same company. Every store in the chain had undergone a full inspection. The leadership had introduced a zero-tolerance policy for discrimination. Every employee was now required to complete ethics and customer service training, and managers were enforcing equal treatment for all customers, regardless of race. But for Michael, this wasn't just a corporate reform. He was about to personally check whether the store where it all began had truly changed. Return to the store. The glass doors of Crestwood Electronics slid open, and Michael stepped inside. This time, no one ignored him. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Crestwood Electronics. How can I assist you? A young consultant, a white man around 25, greeted him with enthusiasm. Michael immediately noticed the difference. The staff didn't avoid eye contact. They didn't pretend he wasn't there. On the contrary, they smiled warmly, assisting every customer without exception. He didn't even need to introduce himself. He could see that the system was working. Sarah gets what she deserves. At the service desk stood Sarah, the same trainee who had been the only one to offer Michael help that day. But now, she was no longer a trainee. She was now the customer service supervisor. When she spotted Michael, her eyes widened for a moment, but then her face lit up with a proud smile. "Mr. Watson, it's a pleasure to see you, sir," she said, quickly approaching him. "I'm now responsible for customer service standards at this store. We're making sure this never happens again." Michael gave a subtle nod, studying her confident stance and sharp, focused gaze. "Congratulations. You earned it." Sarah blushed slightly, but her eyes shone with determination. "Thank you, sir. This wouldn't have happened without you." "No," Michael corrected her gently. "This happened because of you. That day, you made the right choice. Now you can teach others to do the same." Sarah took a deep breath and nodded. "I won't let you down." The final test at that moment, another black man entered the store. He was well dressed, but his cautious expression revealed something familiar. He had experienced this before. Michael recognized that look. He had seen it in the mirror countless times. The man walked over to the same laptop section where Michael himself had stood not long ago. A few months ago, no one would have approached him. But now? "Hello, can I help you?" The same consultant who had greeted Michael now spoke to the new customer. "Oh, yes, I'm looking for a good laptop," the man replied, slightly taken aback. "Great. Let me show you some of our best models. Do you have any specific requirements?" The customer hesitated, then smiled. Michael watched. This was it. This was the difference. He turned to Sarah. "It's working." Sarah nodded proudly. "Yes, sir. We did it." Michael looked around the store. Change had taken just a week. But he knew that real change takes time, and he was ready to keep fighting.